roll this, and then you can find the rainbow trail. Take you right riddle up. Yeah, let's get it. No, wait. I can use actual candy. Yeah. Carve your own place.
Hey Falco, what you doing?
Luka, oh God, you look like. What were you doing?
I was hunting a werewolf and I screwed up on the ambush and they caught me. You should see the other guy. I think it was a guy. You can't tell with those alpha dude bro assholes. They're all just alpha dude bro assholes. All of them. Even the non-binary ones are alpha dude bro assholes. It's so weird.
By I should see them, you mean they escaped?
What did you fucking take me for?
Anyway, I'm working on making Paw Patrol in Candyland, the TTRPG. I just got the big license. Just came in.
You finally got the license for that. I know you've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah. The email came in. The bigwigs liked it. They like the ideas I have for including the lollipops, but you know, I'm kind of stuck a bit on the mechanics.
Well, I mean, as an avid TTRPG player fan myself, I know a thing or two about TTRPG mechanics.
Were these cameras already here?
The cameras are rolling. You say, maybe we should do a video about our favorite TTRPG mechanics.
Yes, Luka, maybe we should make a video about the thing you said. So, Luka, I know that your favorite trope in tabletop RPGs is having open-ended magic systems.
Absolutely. I love being able to roleplay, being one of those like haughty-taughty, look down your nose, know-it-all assholes who does magic stuff, but I don't like to have to research too much, like big, long magic spell lists. I don't like reading. And open-ended magic systems are the happy medium where I can read about magic and learn about magic without having to memorize a spell list. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. You can just get the general gist of what you want to do and then call upon whatever power might work best in the moment to strike down your enemies, or even, you know, buff your allies if you're into that kind of thing.
I also like open-ended magic systems because they tap into what I enjoy most in a TTRPG. Doing cool stuff. Like, I don't know how else to put that. It's kind of a simple concept. But the idea is, if I can do anything within a framework, then I am free to imagine my character doing really cool things in any story. And I don't have to prepare ahead of time and think like, what if I didn't come equipped with the right attack magic for the kinds of enemies we'll be facing? With an open-ended magic system, not only do I stop thinking in terms of straight up just attack spells and start thinking into more creative applications of power sets that result in much more interesting stories, but I was going somewhere with this.
Right. I get exactly what you're saying. Like, there's some room for creativity when it comes down to, like, having acid arrow prepared. Like, yeah, you can aim that at a rope, or you can use your open-ended magic system to cast the break the fucking rope spell, which I actually did in the last... You remember we were playing Mage the other day? That was
awesome. I loved that session.
Right. And, you know, the best designed open-ended magic systems, they have quick and easy ways to do those custom things, so you can just walk right through it and have a narrative effect as soon as you've come up with it. That's the thing about Mage the Awakening as opposed to Ascension. I know all those nerds are going to be so angry that I went into it, but they'll see.
I'm not putting that in the video. The moment you compare Awakening to Ascension, there's going to be a riot outside my channel. You can't expect me to do that.
I can, and I do, and will, and have. Videos already up.
God damn it!
I apologize for what I have said about Mage the Ascension. Everyone is allowed to like the things they like, even if it's a very stupid, bad thing. I mean, sorry. I mean, every opinion is valid.
Favorite mechanic number 2, meta currency. So, Falco, for those of our audience who are not savvy in the ways of the TTRPG, can you explain the basic concept of a meta currency, and please avoid 17-year sentences about magic?
So what's my maximum then?
3.
All right, I'll do what I can. The meta currency is essentially something your character has, usually some form of like energy or tokens or something represented on your sheet that doesn't actually represent what the character itself has, and yet you can spend it to affect the world or the character themselves. For instance, in Fate, if you know that game, you have Fate points. I'm gonna give you a moment to process the connection there, really run that through your feeble minds. Okay, now that you've gotten there, the nice thing about meta currency is it allows you to have some control over what your character's doing, even if the dice don't want to let you. Those of you who like bad things, for instance, might be aware of inspiration in D&D. Of course, those of you who like good games know that inspiration is a very mild, not completely well done version of meta currency that,
Rather than bashing on 5e, let's talk about Octon Cthulhu, my favorite instance of meta currencies in any TTRPG. Love or hate the 2d20 system, Octon Cthulhu does meta currency correctly. The GM and the players both have a meta currency, and the meta currency interfaces with the narrative of the story. The currency also interfaces with the dice system, so there's a little bit of resource management gameplay to be had there. But the gist of it is, the players get to spend points to make cool things happen in the scene for their characters, and the GM gets to spend points to escalate the badness as the scene goes on. And it creates this really cool give and take where the players and the GM collectively tell the story, which, if you ask me, is kind of when TTRPGs are at their best.
Collectively telling the story. What a wonderful segue that I am sure you purposely prepared for, because you are great at that sort of thing.
I did what? I did.
Our third mechanic.
I what? I mean, yeah, totally. Yeah, obviously. Look at me being good at YouTube.
Anyway, shared storytelling often is connected to metacurrency. Fate points I mentioned earlier before I started insulting you all are often used specifically to give the players narrative control. In Fate, you can call upon your aspects to define the scene in some way if you have a fate point. For instance, if you're the well-prepared magic guy, you might spend a fate point when there's a sudden attack from enemy wizards and say, well, actually, I prepared a ward, so we're safe from these spells. And that will teach the GM to rely on surprise in a system where the players have control. You're not the boss of me, GM. You know what will happen.
Cities Without Number is the game I'm going to talk about while Falco is doing whatever the hell Falco's doing.
Burn for what they've
Cities Without Number is a cyberpunk TTRPG where one of the character archetypes you can play is the socialite who knows everybody, and there is a power you can take called Face. And what Face lets you do is, within a certain time limit, you're allowed to spend a point to activate the power and declare you know a guy who knows something or is somehow useful in this situation. This is not something the GM has prepared ahead of time. You're not picking from a list of GM-approved NPCs here. You as the player are stepping into your role as contributor to the narrative and declaring that this is a thing in the world that has happened or is going to happen, and it lets you help steer the story. This sort of shared storytelling is, again, where I think TTRPGs are at their peak.
Yes, and of course, most of these powers in most of these games have something along the lines of the GM having discretion over it. The usual rule of not being a dick applies to both the player and the game master. If you're the person who has rejected random minor shared storytelling things because it doesn't fully and completely line up to what you had planned, you are a bad person. I'm just saying it. And if you're a player who is specifically trying to provoke the GM with stupid things, you're also a bad person, but you're not going to bother anyone anymore. You know what you've done. You know I'm coming for you.
All right, well, I think that's all the time we have for recording today. Do you have good ideas for making Paw Patrol and Candyland now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can integrate all of this. Hey, why don't you come with me? We'll do a quick playtest.
Why don't we skip through time right now and jump right to the playtest so the viewer doesn't think the video is really over?
Well, actually, that sounds really stupid. All right, I just rolled my puppy's cuteness, which gives me +3 to sweet and sour combination.
Okay, so in total, if I've done all the numbers right, here's what happens. You find yourselves investigating the crime scene that you've been looking into this whole adventure in the dank, trashy alleyways of the gingerbread plum tree forest. As you approach the alley, the stench of death assaults your senses, but you don't get the chance to actually breach the crime scene and begin collecting clues. First, you hear the engines, then you hear the screeching tires, and before you can react, Lord Licorice's thugs pour out of several vehicles and emerge already armed with break-action 12-gauge sawed-off shotguns. They open fire.
I knew it. You'll never get away with that.
Bullets sail through the air. The cacophony is horrific. They blow out your knees, and then as you are struggling and writhing in agony on the ground, the thugs approach confidently and smugly, and they produce juicy drop, gumdrop gasoline canisters and proceed to pour them
Oh
all over your soon-to-be corpses.
No.
They light a peppermint-scented match and drop it casually on the mess. Everything lights up in a big whoosh of flames. Your agonized screams echo throughout the forest.
It burns. My chocolate suspenders.
The camera fades to a close on the complete and utter annihilation of the party in this TTRPG's very first TPK.
All right, perfect. That worked exactly how I expected it to.
That was actually a lot of fun. I had my doubts about whether or not you could really make that cuteness sing. You know what I mean? But you pulled it off. It really worked.
Right. Yeah. You know, I should have just saved some of my jawbreakers. You know, the meta currency.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you have good strategy options worked into the game. Just because you didn't remember to use them.
I knew I should have been a spearmint wizard. All right, Luka, roll to see the next video.
What's my bonus stat again?
-1.
All right, rolling. I botch. I got a natural 1. I rolled a 0.
Well, I guess the viewer's gonna have to watch the next video instead.
Again? God damn it.